Alright, good morning everyone, it's Gaming Rivalry here, back again with stories from Seoul the Gundog. We're being chased by the first officer of O'Brien that got
Really?
turned
Is
into
that really
a
the
robot.
first officer? Does our mission
Yes.
already finished?
Yeah, that's our mission. The first officer is actually a robot.
Yeah.
A robot alien. Yeah, who knows?
I don't know what is that.
So we're rushing to Gundog, warning everyone, and we'll see what is Hansen is trying to do right now. This is my Juno, Lieutenant. Don't tell me how to treat her. She's not as delicate as she looks. We're gonna need all she's got to get her back to the Gundog before that thing. Cruz, if we get back and we're dead, yeah, you can write me up on the captain when that happens. But I'm dead. But I'm dead. What do you mean?
No one would ride.
You groan and close your eyes, trying to ignore the beeping that started and the high-pitched whine you hear coming from the back of the cockpit. You're aware of every second that passes as the two of you race back to the Gundog, the tension worsened by the near constant screaming of the warning systems. Alert! Alert! Well, probably you can voice the alert and warning. With
Alert,
Hansen
alert,
in
warning,
control,
warning,
all
danger,
you can
alert,
do is
warning, danger, alert,
that
alert,
you can get
warning,
back in
danger,
time before the
alert,
Gundog
alert.
can be cut to pieces
No,
by
I
the
think it's
weapon
more
you-
like sound like
See?
bap, bap, like that.
Doing short work of the O'Brien, you've lost track of how long you've been pursuing the enemy when suddenly some garbled static bursts from the speakers and a shrill and panicked voice screeches at you.
I repeat, this is Lieutenant Lord of the GFS Gundog. We're under attack by an unknown enemy unit. Any GCF ships in range, please respond. This is Lieutenant.
Lord, this is Gundog 1 approaching the Gundog at...
Cruz, where have you been? Get back to the ship right now. We're under fire from something.
Hansen rolls his eyes as he cuts off by the Vanessa's demand. Roger that, ma'am. Gundog 1 returning.
Now!
Shaking his head rather than following up with an answer, Hansen quickly flicks a few switches and you see the readouts on some monitor switch to display information about the armored frame's weapon systems. As he does this,
What is that?
that's the first officer of the is that the Gundog? I don't know. In the distance, you can see the small lights flickering in and out surrounding a point in space. The on-screen readouts inform you it's the Gundog. Yeah, it's the Gundog. With the Juno approaching the ship at the speed, you can see that the lights are actually rounds being rapidly fired from the Gundog's point defense system, a collection of rotary cannons mounted on turrets along the ship's exterior. You can tell from their short bursts and the erratic shifts in the direction they're firing that the machine you ran into on the O'Brien is moving both quickly and predictably, with the automated cannons unable to keep up. Lord! I thought he was cursing, but it's the name of the lieutenant, Vanessa Lord. Okay, Lord, this is Gundog 1. We're back at...
Cruz, what the hell is this thing?
How would I know?
Ugh, useless.
You see Hansen mutter something under his breath too quietly for the communication system to pick up.
Just destroy it. We've already taken some heavy hits to the porthole.
Yeah, I get it. Just tell these to watch that anti-air. As the Juno closes in on the Gundog, you watch the trajectory of the shots being fired from the point defense system, knowing that they indicate where the enemy machine was rather than where it is. Wait, let me see. Is that yeah, that's the first officer. Let's see in vivid mode. Yeah, the first officer. Based on the speed at which it's moving, you know that if you're going to have a chance at taking this thing down, you'll need to figure out a way to get ahead of it. You're about to make this observation to Hansen, but you see a deep focus on his face, his eyes tracing the path the enemy moves along as it weaves around the barriers coming from the ship. With a sudden flurry of motion and on the control, Hansen adjusts the armored frame's trajectory, sending it soaring uncomfortably close to the Gundog's bridge just in time to intercept the strange craft as it rises up from the far side of the ship. We're using the same evasive maneuvers, amateur! Hansen yells, "Ah!" slamming down the pedals. Hansen positions the Juno over the top of the enemy and hear a heavy click as he pulls the trigger on the right flight stick. Too easy.
Beep, 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 beep. What is that? Is that Juno attacking the first officer?
Yeah, that's the first officer. As the rounds from the machine gun slam into the target, Hansen presses down on a button on the left flight stick, sending a volley of missiles roaring away from the Juno's shoulder pad, pod, and directly into the enemy, engulfing it in an explosion. Doesn't matter how powerful the machine is, if the pilot's no good, the pilot is good. As the smoke clears, staring back at you is the machine that you had just seen hit by a swarm of missiles, each one individually powerful enough to destroy another armored frame. Instead of being totally destroyed, the craft looks completely fine. You don't even see a hint of a scorch mark on its armor. What is this thing made of? Hansen snarls, pulling the trigger on the right flight stick again, this time emptying the entire magazine into the target. As if totally indifferent to Hansen's assault, the craft turns to face you, and you see an increasingly bright light begin to build in front of it, with sparks and crackles of electricity running along its nearby surfaces. Move!
Oh no!
Man, Waldo certainly now knows how to dodge things, like dodge questions, dodge problems, dodge bullet. Very cool. Don't tell me how to pilot! The ensign yells back at you as he navigates the Juno away from the beam that tears through the space you had just occupied. Only seconds after what felt like a moment of triumph, the tables had been so thoroughly turned, you find yourself being slammed from side to side as Hansen executes a rapid series of maneuvers in an attempt to escape the enemy's pursuit. Huge beam of energy blasts through the space around you every few seconds as the Juno dives, climbs, rolls, and bangs. As he weaves through the hail of bullets coming from the Gundog's own defensive system and the attacks from the enemy machine, Hansen's breathing grows faster and faster. Hansen, we can outrun it. We're going to need to figure out something out. His eyes flicking rapidly back and forth from monitor to gauge, and his hands twitching quickly, sending the Juno darting from place to place. Hansen doesn't seem to notice you at all. Hansen! Hansen! What? This isn't working. We need to do something. Don't tell me how to pilot. Stop it. You can't keep this up forever. We need to figure something out.
Ah, what is it?
As you yell at Hansen, you get thrown into the side of the cockpit by a high-speed turn that he pulls off just as a huge beam passes overhead, illuminating the cockpit as its brightness fills the monitors. Come on then, sir. What do you have in mind? We should
Use Delta integration.
get Haru out there.
Who's Haru?
The graph.
Yeah.
Having just watched the enemy machine take a direct hit from frame busting missiles and come away and scat, you mentally scramble and to try to come up with a defeat it. Based on what you've seen, did you know you're in seem totally outclassed? There's no way you win in a 1-on-2-1 fight. That's it. What? This thing outmatches us when it comes to armor, weapon, speed. There's no way we can take it down by ourselves. Huh? So what? Want me to give up and get us toasted? This isn't my first time fighting a... Shut up, Ensign, that's not what I mean. Hansen glances across to you and you see a snarl from his lips. But before he can say anything, his attention is taken by another blast from the enemy's energy weapon, which he evades at the very last moment. That machine may have us beat in terms of its raw power, but we've got one advantage: numbers. We'll get Haru out here. With their help, I bet we can take this thing down. Hansen scoffs at you despite being in the middle of carrying out a maneuver involving suddenly braking, dropping downward through space, and letting the enemy machine fly overhead so that he can fire another volley of machine gun rounds and at its underside. What? You think I can take this thing down alone? You want to take the controls instead, sir? Hansen, for God's sake, would you just... Isa, I'm messing with you. That's the first good idea you've had all day. Thanks. Out of nowhere, the armored frame's cockpit shakes violently as Hansen simultaneously counteracts its forward momentum and sends it hurtling upwards. The pursuing craft soars past you and As it bangs upwards to try to reestablish its pursuit, Hansen accelerates straight towards it. As he closes in on it, he lets loose a barrage of machine gun fire with every shot finding its target. Do me a favor, Uchiha, I'm a bit busy, so make the call, eh? As the Juno continues to shake from the strain its engine are under, and the sudden spins and turns, there's so many and Hansen is making it perform. You manage to lean towards the communication system and press down on the button that allows you to broadcast. Gandok, this is Gandok 1 requesting assistance from Gandok 2 in.
Get off this line, Uchiha. I'm trying to coordinate emergency repairs. You're distracting me.
You fly back the now familiar urge to rise to Vanessa's pettiness and instead focus on the task at hand. Lord, just put us through the Ensign Romney. They're standing by, right?
Of course they're standing by. I'm running this operation. That's standard.
Lord, shut up. Put us through Romney now. Hey, Chris, Chia.
Okay.
Oh, mate. Oh, yeah, it's Haru. No, it's Hansen. Wait, how does this sound again? Very gruff, right?
Yeah.
Wait. How to do that? With that face, gruff voice, how? Hey, Chris, Uchiha, how's it going there? Having fun? Despite everything going on, you see a smile appear on Hansen's face as his fellow pilot's voice crackles over the communication system. Yeah, it's going great, Romney, but I don't want to bogart all the action. You want to join in? Make this a real party. You know I'll never say no to a good time, Chris. Give me a few minutes to get out of here. Go out there. Don't finish things without me. No promises, Romney. As the low-resolution version of Haru disappears from the communication screen, Hansen's face returns to see intense focus it had been before he had spoken to the other pilot. Throughout their conversation, he had been weaving through the Gandok's anti-air fire, trying to lure the pursuing craft into the point defense system's line of fire. Unfortunately, he had proven to be just as adept at evading the storm of bullets as Hansen had. God damn, I hate it when they get too clingy. Allowing the armored frame to be carried away from the ship by its momentum, Hansen pivots the Juno on its axis to face the enemy. Back off, would you? As he shouts his demand, Hansen pulls the trigger on the left flight stick, and you see another salvo of missiles speed towards the oncoming machine. Each one hits the mark, and for a second the armored frame's main monitor is illuminated by the flash of light from the explosions. That must have slowed it. Before he can finish his sentence, Hansen is quickly proven wrong as the attacker emerges from the cloud of detritus, tearing towards you even faster than before. God damn! Damn it! First officer! In an instant, it's on you, extending its two front appendages to grab the Juno before Hansen can get away. The creaking and groaning of the frame's structure as it struggles against this restraint is audible in the cockpit above the blare of the various warnings. But worse than that, the noise is what you see right in front of you. You recognize the telltale build-up of energy in the cannon mounted on the front of the enemy's body. Oh, it's the laser again! Spark giving away the intense glow coming from within. Hansen! I know! Despite his best effort, the thing has you now, and you can tell is seconds away from vaporizing the both of you. Hansen wrestles with the controls in an attempt to wrestle your machine free. All you can do. Where's the punctuation? I'm really confused reading this thing. All you can do is watch as the glow around the enemy's weapon increases. Hands off! Out of nowhere, Haru's Juno slam into the enemy, dislodging it from your armored frame and sending it careening away. Hey man, sorry for cutting in, but I get jealous. With a smirk, Hansen quickly regains control and flies back towards the enemy. Haru's Juno visible on the sub-monitors, showing them keeping pace beside you. Forget about it, this one's not really my type. You can have them if you want. What, and leave you out of fun? You're my wingman. I couldn't leave you hanging like that.
Who is that and who is this? I don't know.
That's Gundog 1 and Gundog 2.
Oh
As
no,
they're
they're fine.
As their banter continues, you watch in awe as the two pilots, without communicating it, both peel away from each other before accelerating towards the enemy, catching it in a pincer. Split second later, they're both circling it, spraying it with a machine gun fire, and moving so quickly, so insane that it's unable to react. So within a second, the enemy turns away and takes off back towards the Gundog. For the first time in this engagement, it seems on the back foot. Both Hansen and Haru instantly chase after it, forming up on each other as they pursue it. This one doesn't seem too impressed by the light show. Wasn't impressed by my big show stop either. Real hard to please. Maybe it's time to give things to personal touch. Sounds like a plan. I get its attention, would you? No problem. With that, Haru's armored frame accelerates forward, soaring past the targets and clearly grabbing its attention as it moves to pursue them. Meanwhile, Hansen wordlessly navigates around to the front of the Gundog, switching from the Juno's machine gun to his close combat blade. Ready where you are, Omni. Be with you in 3, 2, 1. Accurate to the second, Haru's armored frame tears around from the Gundog's stern, the enemy in pursuit. As soon as Haru passes you, Hansen sends your Juno straight towards the enemy machine, knife outstretched. The whole armored frame shakes with the impact as you slam into the other craft. With the Juno's right hand grabbing one of the conduits that links to the thing's cannon, Hansen begins to repeatedly strike at the quarry with the knife, the sound from the impact reverberating through the cockpit with each thrust. Don't think you were getting away! Hansen roared as the other machine tries to pull away, pushing the Juno's engines to the limits to keep it in place. Now do me a favor and go! Down! Shoo! I thought he was commanding Haru. Ah, hell. Suddenly you force back into your seat by rush of acceleration. Hansen, what's going on? Just about to manage to turn your head against the force of the thrust to see Hansen shunting the flight sticks back and forth and stomping on the pedals. Its engine must have cut out, but the controls have gone on ours. I can't stop them. As Hansen continues to struggle with the controls, Vanessa screeches at you over the radio, sounding more panicked than ever.
Chris, you're headed straight for the hangar. Change course, Chris!
I'm trying!
Chris, you're going to!
Shut up! April 23rd, Planetary Calendar 214. Despite Ensign Cruz gaining an advantage against the unknown enemy craft that had attacked the JFS Gundog, a mechanical failure in the engines of his Juno 3 resulted in both the unidentified machine and the armored frame crashing into the ship's hangar.
What's going on?
So the first officer is dead now. Lieutenant Uchiha and Ensign Cruz were both quickly extracted from the armored frame and sent to the ship's sickbay upon being cleared for duty. Lieutenant Uchiha is ordered to the hangar to help secure the enemy craft.
Oh, so...
Outer Jovian space, the hangar of the Jovian patrol ship JFS Gundog.
So that thing is dead?
Yeah, it's the first officer. You stretch your neck from side to side and roll your shoulders as you wait for the captain's judgment. Dr. Rosarium had done his best for the neck injury you had acquired during Hansen's less than textbook landing, but the captain had been insistent that her sole security officer return to duty immediately. As a result, after a cursory once over, the doctor had given you an anti-inflammatory injection on one side of your neck and an injection of painkillers on the other before sending you on your way. This had left your neck numb, and you with the vague sensation that your head could become detached at any moment, but at least you were up and about. Spraying the hangar, you know you should be thankful for this miracle. Both Hansen's Juno and the craft it had been fighting had entered the hangar at full thrust. If Dalton hadn't thought quickly and activated every single piece of arrestor gear available, the two machines would have torn straight through the belly of the Gundog. Top of that, he slammed into the storage container that held the tank he had been keeping his experimental high-density foam in, causing it to rupture and coat the attacker in the substance and adhere it to the hangar floor. With the machine stuck in place, it didn't take long for the Juno engines to burn out as it pushed against the immovable object. What this did mean, though, was that the mysterious assailant, which had torn the O'Brien to pieces and nearly done the same to the Gundog, was stuck irremovably for the time being, right in the middle of the hangar. It's not dead yet! No, the first officer is still alive! Had shown
So
no
it just get
activity.
frozen?
I don't know, it's just trapped. Since it went dead just outside the Gundog, but having one of those eye-like cameras exposed didn't leave you.
Is this craft secured, Lieutenant?
Oh yes, ma'am. To be honest, Cadet Grange Foam has done most of the work for us. With the amount of that stuff it's covered with, I don't see it's making any move anytime soon. Even the tethers we use aren't really necessary. It's the research that Dalton did earlier, I guess. When we get back to Europa Colony, it will probably be easier to remove the entire hangar block to get to this thing rather than carve it out. Dalton researched some substance that will cover all of the airships and the armored frames, so it will be less penetrable with bullets and stuff, right? So the foam is that thing.
Is that so?
Yes, ma'am. Wait for a moment as the captain allows your response to her rhetorical question to hang in the air.
As far as capturing enemy technology goes, they should have certainly gone more smoothly.
A ball of anger shoots through your body, as if you have any right to criticize things going badly. I thought we all made mistakes. Immediately suppress their reaction as the captain turns back towards you.
Regardless, you've all done good work today, Lieutenant Uchiha, Cadet Grange.
Yes, ma'am. I bit my tongue. No. Oh, it hurts.
Yeah, that's actually definitely how Dalton sounds like. Always panicking, always afraid, always.
No, when we're lurking at your side, oh my god, it hurts.
Okay, let me read it. Dalton, who've been lurking at your side like a nervous shadow this entire time, squeaks. The unexpected compliment taking him completely by surprise. I mean, that's it. If the container hasn't been in that area, then we wouldn't have lost so much hangar space. And I'm sorry that.
Okay, I'm back. I'm scared that I wouldn't be able to enjoy meal tomorrow.
Oh no. It's itching.
You swiftly but gently elbow the cadet in his side. Which is thank you, ma'am. I just wish I had a chance to use it as intended, or even as ammunition for it. He delivered another gentle elbow to Dalton. Yes, anyway, thank you.
Very good, Cadet. Well then.
The captain once again leaves the sentence to trail off half form, whereas this manner of speech had previously left you disconcerted with its indication that there was something the captain was holding back. You had found yourself no longer bothered by it. Whether this was because you were used to it or simply too tired to be perturbed was a matter you hadn't quite decided on. Dalton, on the other hand, was still cruelly terrified by the concept of being in such close proximity to the captain, to the point where his nervousness was palpable. If it wasn't for the rustling of his jumpsuit caused by his nervous fidgeting, you felt there was a good chance you'd be able to hear his heartbeat racing.
Has the ship. Has the ship. I've finished my assessment of the craft, Captain.
With an amount of grace that surprises you, the chief, having appeared from the underneath the catwalk, grabs onto the handrail and effortlessly redirects her momentum, planting her feet firmly on the walkway you all stood on.
Thank you, Chief Katesh. And your assessment? Hard to say, never seen anything like it. The real structure is totally different from the humanoid construction you'd see on an AF. Whatever materials this thing is made of don't line up with that we see on Martians or Terran machines.
It's made of Nutri-Shakes.
Even the sample of that titanium they make on Lunar didn't have the kind of durability this thing showed. Based on the combat data from crews, AF even that have been torn apart, plus no indication of a traditional drift system, which your security assessment, Chief Cat Eyes.
Stephen, as a wave of realization hits you, causing a painful twinge in your neck. As soon as you had got out of the sickbay, the captain had ordered you to secure the craft. In your current state, still running on leftover adrenaline and recently dosed up on medication, you have followed that order to the letter, completely forgetting about assessing any potential risk.
Right, yes, Captain. There is no sign to indicate that this craft is active anymore. No measurable electronic activity, no readings to suggest an active reactor. Looks like the whole thing has been totally shut down. The only reading that showed anything was boson count. It's surrounded by a massive amount of residual distortion. No idea why though. You need a whole engine to put out the amount I'm registering around it. As far as I can tell, Captain, whatever this thing might be, it's not doing anything anytime soon. I see. And the pilot?
First officer!
If there's anyone in there they aren't getting out, I've checked overall the visible portion of its structure and there's no trace of a cockpit hatch or entry panel. With how truncated Grange compound is, there's no way they'd be able to break through. You must have gone pretty heavy on the cyanoacrylates, huh, Cadet?
Cyanoacrylates.
Cyanoacrylates, huh, Cadet?
The chief asked with a wink. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
It's a good thing, Cadet.
Okay,
If you
yeah,
hadn't,
thank you.
this that might have been able to tear
So
its
it's a
way
good
out
thing.
and continue its rampage
Oh,
around the
thank
ships
God.
and sites. Best way I can put it, Captain, I hope they've got enough oxygen and emergency ration in there to last them until we get back to Europa, because we aren't getting them out. And you, Lieutenant?
You had hoped that the chief's explanation would suffice, but the captain had turned her attention to you expectantly.
See, that's the right thing if we bring that bonsai out!
Yeah, we need to throw that away because the O'Brien found it one day before the blackout, right?
One day before the blackout?
Yes.
Find who?
Find the thing, the first officer.
Yeah.
And then the blackout happens. They all died for some reason. I think in that
Really?
addition to what the chief had said that I don't know
Yes,
why you
Lieutenant?
tried to add something to the chief's statement. The more you try to think, the more you realize just how exhausted you were mentally and physically. He turned to look at the crashed craft and catch a glint as the hangar lights reflect off one of the eye like camera lenses, totally different to anything you had seen on an armored frame. I don't think we can count on this thing playing by our rules.
Oh?
Whatever this thing is, it doesn't look like an AF I've ever seen. It doesn't behave like one either. The amount of punishment it stood up to out there, I'm not sure we had anything to do with it going offline. And if that's just the machine, I wouldn't make any assumption about its pilot either. You look back to the captain just as she turns her attention to the machine. The captain takes a moment to move to the railings and place her hand onto them, resting what little of her weight remains in this low gravity on the support whilst also drumming her fingers against them. As you watch Captain Bartholomew's, you see this brief glimmer of a spark in her eyes, the slight change transforming her in front of you from the consistently disinterested captain you know to a canny, analytical version of herself. She turns back to face you, pivoting on the one hand she keeps on the railing.
In that case, our priority is getting this back to Europa colony where it can be investigated properly. The less time we have this on board, the less risk it poses to us. Chief Cat Eyes, I want those engines online now. Cadet Grange, I want inside cruise, Juno fully operational and combat ready. If this decides to reactivate, I want to be ready for it. Lieutenant Uchiha, I want you on active patrol until inside cruise is out of sickbay.
I want
You,
to
Brumley
sleep,
Cruise-
Captain!
Brumley and Drows will be carrying out patrols around the clock until we dock at Europa. No sleeping yet until you get it to the Europa. This thing has shown itself to be full of surprise. Just because we can't see a way for the pilot to get out doesn't mean there isn't one. Carry out a normal patrol and then report back to me. I'll be in my quarters writing this up. Understood.
I'll be dead in 2 hours, Captain, if I don't sleep. The three of you snap to attention and throw a salute in perfect synchronization. Even the chronically fidgety Dalton maintains a perfectly still professional countenance. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am!
Very good. Dismissed.
With a shove against the railing, the captain launches herself towards the hangar entrance, and the three of you drop your stiff postures as soon as she is out of sight.
Hell of a day, huh, Lieutenant?
You roll your shoulders once again, trying to get rid of the stiffness that's working its way back into your neck. All in a day's work, you smirk at the chief question. She wasn't wrong. At this point, you felt you were running on fumes, driven by willpower alone. If you admitted to yourself that you were on the verge of collapsing from exhaustion, it wouldn't be long before it actually happened. I don't know about you, Chief, but this is what I signed up for.
Haha, is that right, Lieutenant?
The Chief gives you a playful punch to the arm. In stark contrast to her grace earlier, this punch actually sends you spinning away in the low gravity, requiring you to grab into a nearby piece of apparatus to stop yourself. Maybe not quiet, you admit.
Well, I signed up to make sure this dog's tail keeps wagging, and right now with the engines offline, that's not happening. So I'm going to head back to the engine room. We've all got jobs to do, no time to stand around chatting if we want to get our unexpected passenger back to Europa colony. Cadet!
Yes, Chief!
The main stretcher model and crew is Juno is completely fried. Don't bother trying to salvage it, it's going to need a wholesome replacement, understood?
Yes, Chief!
Alright then, both of you, get to it.
With that, the Chief launches herself off a nearby railing and towards the hangar entrance. Much like you had with the captain earlier, watch as she disappears, relaxing slightly once she's out of sight. As you look around your surroundings, you see that Dalton has already made his way towards Hansen as Juno, leaving you alone. You kick off the catwalk and begin to gently drift towards the hangar exit, taking one last look back at the hangar before you leave. The once unstoppable machine now sits totally still in the center of the hangar. Despite being encased in the rock-hard compound, the misgivings you felt about how out of commission it really was here were hard to ignore. You'd never seen or even heard a machine with the capabilities it had demonstrated, and although the chief had assured the captain it wasn't going anywhere, you weren't so certain. Beyond that, the thought of the pilot concerned you the most. What kind of person did it take to pilot something like this? Your attention lingers on it for a little longer before you turn your attention back towards the exit. Time for patrol then. You fall over the railings and kick off gently towards the strange machines, taking in every visible detail as you slowly float over it. Grabbing onto the protrusion from the mass of foam, you redirect yourself, continuing to inspect the machine from a different perspective. You calmly and methodically repeat this process a few more times before returning to the catwalk near the hangar entrance. Like the chief said, no sign of any sort of hatch or cockpit. This thing may be powerful, but there's no way a pilot would be able to break through all of this. With the launch hatches out of action, the only way to get the armored frames out of the hangar is opening the main door, which would depressurize the entire area. I've got a reason to use them right now. Thank God. There's of damaging the machine right now. I send myself and Dalton flying out to space, so I think I'll leave that alone. And yeah, I think that's all for today's video. We will hold off the patrol after we go to sleep. We'll ignore Captain Bartholomew's order. I'm just going to sleep now. See you guys later. Bye bye.
Bye!